Today I'm going to be polishing this headlight. It is extremely hazy and yellow, and you can hear the texture on it. It's just, this is just not how you want your headlights. So yesterday I did this in about 20 minutes. Very nice and smooth, and it looks a lot better. Speaking, that was the worst one compared to this. So I'm gonna show you how to make these lights look like that in 20 minutes. Now to do this, all you need is 1000, 15, 2000, and I have a 3000 grit sandpaper, a buffing wheel, and some polishing compound. First thing that we're gonna do, which I've already done, is you want to wash this as well as you can. Try and get all the debris off, any kind of dirt, so on and so forth. You wanna make sure that you have a clean surface to start with before sanding, and then you're just going to keep wet sanding it all the way down. I'm gonna do kind of a cross hatch pattern. So where I'll do 1000 grit this way, 1500 this way, 2000, and then 3000. Just to make sure that I'm doing every single part of it. I can see exactly where the scratches are and make sure this is gonna be nice and clean. One thing I forgot to mention is one way to do this while it's on the car is just take some masking tape and then you're gonna shove it into the corners to protect the paint so that when you go over it with the sandpaper, you're not gonna gouge out this or make scuff marks all the way down. Now with the headlights taped off, what we're going to do is get these wet. I have just a spray bottle with a little bit of water. We're just gonna spray it. Get our 1000 grit sandpaper. Make sure to keep these nice and wet while you're doing this. And you're just gonna start going back and forth. So what you're doing is you're taking off the oxidation that's on the outside, that yellow film. And if you're doing this right, when you go to peel it off, you'll see some yellow in discoloration. Just spray that off. And just keep this thing as wet as you can. You'll notice it start to stick a little bit once it starts drying up and you got a lot of debris underneath the sandpaper. Just hit it with a little bit more water and you're good to go. Now when you're doing this, you will notice on the very first one, your headlights will get very cloudy. That's good. The whole purpose of sanding is to get these things extremely smooth and clean. And that's why we have multiple sandpapers as well. Is to take it from a cloudy look like this and slowly go up in sandpaper to where it'll get that nice sheen to it. Now, when you're sanding and you feel something in between your sandpaper, like something kind of gritty, pull it off. There are a lot of times, because where we live, something will fall down and it'll end up getting stuck between this. You'll end up getting deep scratches in what you're sanding. So take the time, just make sure that everything's nice and clean. You can already tell the difference between the top and the bottom one. It's a little bit cloudy up on top compared to the haze that it currently has on the bottom one. But now I'm gonna do the bottom one as well. So still using the 1000 grit sandpaper. And what I'm doing now is I'm just feeling the headlight, making sure that I've gotten every single part of it. It's all nice and smooth all the way across and on the edges. Right here up on top, there's a little bit of spider cracking. But just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna see if I can sand that down a little bit. see if we can't save that a little bit more. All right, so that's the first 1,000 grit done. So what you want to have is a nice uniform feel all the way across. Just to make sure, I'm going to take a rag. And dry it off. What you want to do is you want to have these nice and dry, or at least I like to make sure that everything's uniform. Everything's staying the same, there's no inconsistencies. Now with letting this dry for just a little bit, you can see that we have a nice cloudy haze all the way across. And even over onto the sides. So now that everything seems to look pretty uniform, we're going to jump up to the 1500 grit and do the exact same thing. Again, nice and smooth. I'm gonna clean these off and just jump right back into the 2000 grit. I finished up the 2000 grit sandpaper. Very nice and smooth now. I let this dry after I cleaned it. Now, the main thing that you want to do is make sure that you keep your pad wet. Now we're going to finish up the 3000 grit, and then we're going to polish this, and that's going to make these look like that. Now, even with the short time sanding it with the 3000 grit, you can tell how much faster the water beads off and dries up. Not too much of a difference in clarity, but you can definitely tell which one's been sanded with 2000 versus 3000. So let's continue. Now, one thing that you always want to do is slowly go up in sandpaper. You never just want to jump straight to 3000 grit, because you're never going to be able to take off the material, because all you're doing is taking off the layer. So if the red part is the oxidation, which was yellow, and you need to get down here to the white, using a very high number sandpaper, it's going to take you ages to get through that. That's why you always want to do it in stages. So you put in the scratches, essentially is what it is, of 1000 grit, then you move up to 1500. That's gonna smooth those scratches out until those are gone. And then 2000, then 3000. 3000 you get, like, this is almost like a very rough t-shirt kind of thing. And then you hit it with a polishing compound, which has small abrasives. And that give you that mirror kind of finish like this is when it's wet. And that's exactly what we're looking for. There we go, that's nice and smooth. And so is that one. Now that those are both smooth, what I'm gonna do is get the air compressor, blow off all the air of this, because we want to make sure it's completely dry and clean. Then we're going to hit it with the polishing wheel. with a little bit of polishing compound to really bring these out. Okay, so here we are with the 3000 grit that is sanded. Get off there, little bug. It is very nice and smooth, but it's still hazy. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take this little polishing wheel I got. You can pick these up at like Advanced or O'Reilly's, whatnot. I think it's like 20 bucks. It comes with a full sanding kit. I only use it for this for the headlights. That's all I use this. And a little bit of polishing compound. So what we're gonna do is add a couple drops of that, make a couple slow passes, and make sure that we get all this to look really nice and mirror finished. Nice thing about polishing compound is you really don't need a lot. Like even this is probably more than I really should have put on there. So let's bring that down. Now let's get to polishing. And then just like that, you have a beautifully clear piece of plastic for your headlights. All right, now to do the bottom one. So again, you have a little bit of product. We're gonna kind of spread it around. And see that right there? I'm actually going a little dry. So I can use a little bit more polishing compound. So again, we're gonna add a little bit more and get back to it. So there you have it. This one unfortunately didn't come out as great as I wanted. It's got a little bit of hazing almost to it. I don't know if I didn't go down far enough on the 1000 grit. I probably should have started off with like an 800 just to make sure that I got all the way down. Because you can see, I don't know if it's gonna pick it up on camera, but it's a little hazy here, but it's a little bit clear up here. Yeah, you can kind of see it. But overall, for only spending, you know, 20 bucks to have nice clean headlights, it's absolutely worth doing this. It takes a little bit of your time, but it makes the car look, or I'm sorry, excuse me, makes the truck look so much better. All right, so that's gonna be it for today. We are going to be doing a lot more stuff on this truck, like taking off the paneling and upgrading a few things already. Stay tuned for more. We will be doing a couple more things and getting everything sorted.